Caught up with Vishal Sikka and began by asking him if the downward revision in guidance has been led by cyclical and structural issues.
These are not these are not structural issues. The structural issue that we are seeing in the industry is a long-term one that we have been addressing in a systematic way, which is the downward pricing pressure and the increased competitiveness in the industry, the commoditization of services, essentially the commoditization of the people-only services model. That is the structural issue. That is something that we know about and that we have been addressing for the last 2 years and actually making great progress on. Whereas the issues that impact guidance and so forth tend to be issues, more tactical ones, near-term ones, and pertain to clients, ramp downs, and things like that. And so these are not structural, I would say.
In terms of the global macro environment, I want to understand from you, what is your own reading for now? We've seen Brexit happen and also the US election rhetoric. What kind of an incremental effect has it had on any kind of decision-making as far as clients go in these regions?
I think that we always tend to overstate the impact of these things. Sometimes in some areas, that, for example, oil prices or Brexit or these kinds of things can have some impact. But the bigger, again, structural issue that is impacting all of our clients in every industry is the nature of computing, the nature of digital. Every company is slowly in the process of becoming a tech company. Right now, we are in an atmosphere where the top 5 largest companies in the world are all technology companies. And yet we realize that every company is being impacted by technology, by digital. So this is both a massive structural threat and disruption to existing companies, but also an opportunity, especially for a company like us, which can take advantage of that to deliver some great services to our clients. So otherwise, Brexit and these things, we always tend to overemphasize the impact of these.
The last time you spoke to analysts, of course, you were mentioning about, the changes that you're making in the consulting side of the business. I want to understand how long will this process take to perhaps do the operational changes that is required on the consulting side of the business, and also the new structure that you've put in place. How much of an impact is that going to have in the coming quarters? And is this going to have any terms of, impact on the margins and the operational efficiency of the company?
So within consulting, I mean, it's not a very large part of our business, but it is a non-trivial part of the business. Rajesh has been doing a great job in the last 4 months, 3 months that he has had responsibility for it. It's going to take a while. I think in the US, it depends again on regions and specifics of within that organization. In the US, he has already seen that the results of the changes have been positive, and he feels comfortable with what is happening in the North American regions. In Europe, we have a more structural issue that is the result of the acquisition that we made there 4 years ago, a couple of years before I joined, which was the company Lodestone that we had, and how we have to transform that towards becoming the tip of our spear, and how do we engage that into more design thinking, strategic-oriented, design-oriented consulting, and so forth. So those kinds of things are going to take time, and what he has told us is another 2 to 4 quarters is what he will take to on the European side and so forth.
One final question, are you on track with your 2020 plan?
The 2020 is an aspiration. It's a great aspiration, and I remain excited about it.
Sure.
Okay, that was Vishal Sikka.